Hi, my name is Lynn Gitau from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you, GatherVerse, for having me here at the Africa Summit. I'm very honored and I really appreciate. For everyone watching, whether in the physical, in the virtual, thank you for your time. Looking forward to a very interactive and educative virtual session with you. So maybe I'll start by mentioning my background in the tech space. So I have been in the Web3 and blockchain space for over 4 years. I think I'm heading to the fifth year in the Web3 space. I started my metaverse journey in 2020, where I was working with a Netherlands company that was very futuristic, and they had this vision in mind of creating a virtual space using virtual reality and creating just a space whereby people will be interacting via VR sets. So the project is still ongoing, but I left the company and now I'm the founder of Metaversations, a company that educates, evangelizes, and creates immersive metaverse experiences by collaborating with other metaverse stakeholders. So that is just a brief introduction about me in regards to the metaverse. So today I'll be addressing humanity and equality in regards to the metaverse as part of the agenda of the Africa Summit. And I'll begin with the humanity agenda. Naturally, as human beings, we don't like change. Change is a scary word to most of us. Not only to most of us, to all of us, depending on what is changing and what is not. So think about our daily normal lives and how we are used to routines. Same jobs, same colleagues, same relatives, same parents, same friends. And then now we have the concept of change coming in, and you feel like something is disrupting how I usually work, how I usually do my things. And it's normal for us human beings to not really like change. We are naturally wired not to like change, and it's okay. But we really need to ask ourselves, if I have to change, if I really have to adopt to change, what are the perks? What are the dangers of just staying in the comfort zone? We have seen a lot of companies, we have seen brands time and again being wiped out, and concept being wiped out of the concept of time and change. So again, we humans, we may not like change, but time and location and the universe just forces us to like change or to adopt to change. So the greatest skill or the greatest mindset that we have to have if Africa is to adopt to the metaverse is the mindset to being flexible to change. Change is the only constant. And maybe I'd like to maybe challenge our knowledge. If we think the metaverse is a new concept, I would like maybe to challenge your idea and introduce something, a new idea, or maybe a thought, or maybe an education that will challenge what you think about the metaverse. As we all defined it. Personally, I define the metaverse as a virtual space whereby 3D objects and 3D avatars interact in a virtual space without sorry about that, there's a distraction somewhere. But I personally describe the metaverse as a 3D virtual space whereby humans and things interact with their avatars. That is a very simple and layman definition for me about the metaverse. However, we have so many definitions of the metaverse, and I believe there's more to come. Actually, one of the things I'm anticipating in this field of the metaverse is that maybe in 10 years or 15 years from now, it won't be called the metaverse. It will have another name. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So I came to really realize that the metaverse has been here and it's a process. It's not like a hype like people think it is. For me, I tend to think metaverse has been here for the longest time and it has been a process. And right now is the best time for it, for the physical and the virtual world to really kind of marry and form this huge platform we call the metaverse. So, according to my research, I gathered some few history here and there about the metaverse, and my first very surprising and very thought-triggering um, thoughts about the metaverse is back then. We have to go back in 1838. So back then in 1838, we had a scientist by the name Charles Whiston. I hope I did pronounce it right. So Charles introduced the concept of binocular vision. This is whereby he brought an equipment called the stereoscope, whereby you see or use illusion or in-depth illusion of images to create 3D spaces. I don't know if you really get me. So this is whereby he had three classes, one on the left, the other on the right, and these binocular visions could create in-depth. They could see in-depth images and create an in-depth 3D version of that. So it's more like the first maybe virtual reality sets, I would call that. Maybe you can do a deeper research. I hope I did define it quite well. Then we went to 1935, whereby we have a science fiction writer by the name Stanley. Stanley wrote a book, a fictional book, whereby the main character in this book meets a professor who invents a device called the Pygmalion spectacles. So if you have been in the space, you've really heard about the Pygmalion spectacles, whereby also people were interacting in a 3D virtual spaces using the Pygmalion spectacles. Went back to 1970, MIT creates Aspen movie map, where it's more of a virtual space that military people could familiarize themselves in a territory using a virtual space before they went to the actual territory. Then we came back to 1992, Snow Crash. 2014, we have games like Ready Player One or movies like Ready Player One being brought to life. 2018, Ready Player One is released, and 2014 we have Google releasing AR glasses. So it has been here. It's a process, and right now, since 2021, Mark Zuckerberg announced Facebook and rebranded it to Meta. It became a bust, a metaverse bust. So the metaverse has been here. The virtual world has been here using Web 2 online spaces where we were just viewers. We are actually viewers right now. Now we are transitioning from just viewing the virtual world to experiencing the virtual world using 3D spaces and our avatars. And maybe next I'd like to address the issue of equality, gender equality in the metaverse. So for time and again, we have seen women being left out or being the minority when it comes to tech adoption and taking leadership roles. So it has not been different in this metaverse case. So according to McKinsey report that was released on the metaverse on June, it said that women are more likely to spend more time in the metaverse than men. So 41% of women have already participated in virtual prototypes for the metaverse, and 34% of men have participated. So the number of women is higher than men. Women have been spending time in the virtual space in fitness, shopping, virtual filters and all that, makeup and fashion. Whereas as for men, their major activities in the metaverse is majorly on buying and trading NFTs, events, as well as gaming. So far that is the usability according to gender when it comes to metaverse prototypes. And again, however, there's a very daunting trend whereby more men, founders or CEOs, are likely to get funded for metaverse ventures more than women. This is according to the McKinsey report. And women being the higher or the more, or maybe the more anticipated users of the metaverse, we maybe should expect a kind of equality when it comes to gender roles or leadership roles in the metaverse. So according to McKinsey, 90% of metaverse companies are led by men. 90%. So 10% goes to women and 90% goes to men when it comes to leadership roles. So again, we're seeing the same trends that we have been seeing in the physical world in the metaverse. So these are one of the key things that we really need to look up to as key players in the metaverse and shaping the metaverse. We really need to have more women taking up leadership roles. Another statistics by McKinsey that I really found out is that out of 50 companies founded by women, 60% of them, the female founders, have implemented metaverse related initiatives in the organizations for marketing, staff learning, product design, and product development. So again, women are leading when it comes to implementing and being in the metaverse compared to men. But the only gender disparity in the metaverse is when it comes to leadership roles and getting venture funding on metaverse projects. So male projects are getting more funded than women, just like in the normal physical world. So if we're going to talk about equality, then this is a discussion that we really need to have as tech players or major adopters or early adopters or shapers of the metaverse. So again, when it comes to gender, I would actually congratulate Blackpink for winning the MVA metaverse performance. So Blackpink is a group of pop artists from the Asian side of the world, and they got the metaverse performance winning the metaverse performance MTV Emma Awards. Congratulations to them. So when it comes to gender, I feel there's still more spaces for women to become founders, and I still believe there are more cases for men to use the metaverse other than gaming and actually doing the NFT tradings. There are still more roles to play in the metaverse. And from what I've seen for the last maybe not years, maybe 1 year, is that metaverse is becoming a huge thing. And for me, I believe it is the next iteration of the internet. And the majority of users are Gen Z. So we may not have boomers and millennials using the metaverse, but we already have Gen Zs and Gen Alpha already immersed in the metaverse. Because right now, most Gen Zs have avatars. They have gaming platforms, and not just gaming platforms, but metaverse gaming platforms. So if your company or organization or your brand is to survive in the next 50 years, I believe looking into the metaverse in-depthly, keenly, doing major research on the metaverse is something that you should be doing right now. And don't just watch the metaverse, get into the metaverse. Well, that was my few cents. Because of time, I'm looking forward to a very interactive Q&A with you. Thank you so much. Have a nice one.